Hey guys, how are y'all doing? This is my first try at doing a YouTube video for you guys. I had a friend, Jason Floyd, who did this, and I thought, what a great idea. So I'm going to take you on a tour through our back greenhouse because it's changed so drastically since you guys were here. And then tomorrow we'll do the front greenhouse. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to turn off all the fans so that it doesn't make a lot of noise, so that you guys can hear what I'm saying. And so that means it's going to get mighty hot. Remember, this is our greenhouse that doesn't have a shade cloth on it, and unfortunately our cool cell that's over here, back here, is not working. So there is no cooling down this greenhouse other than to open doors and to keep on the fans. And as you can see right now, ooh, this greenhouse is sitting at around 100 degrees. So it's really, really hot in here. So only the plants that can handle this heat are out here, okay? And I have to really, really be careful to keep everything watered because you guys, it dries so quickly. And since I don't have you guys to help me out, it's quite a chore. This right here is one of the perennials that we had called Alyssum. And I've moved it over because it does love the heat. And so it's handling it pretty good in here. I wanted to show you as we came in the door, do you remember our Delosperma, or our ice plant? This is our perennial that we've got going here. We've got a couple of different colors. It's getting really leggy, but since I don't have you guys here to help me cut it back, I'm just making sure everything stays watered and I'm letting it go. So as you can see, those legs right down there, you can see them getting very long. If I had you guys here, we'd be snipping it off and sticking it back in the dirt to get it to grow fuller. But unfortunately, there's just one of me, so I can't do all that. Do you guys remember those red hot pokers that were little bitty when you guys left? Look at how tall those are. Now, they still don't have the plumes. They'll get, remember, a reddish orange flower at the top. And one of them is solid and one of them is multicolored. And so we've got a lot of those. They're perennials, remember, which means that they'll come back next year. And then this is one of my absolute favorites. I don't know if you can tell by the color very well, but this is called a violet sage. It's Mirage, and it is a perennial that comes back every year, and I think it is one of the prettiest colors I've seen this year. When I opened that greenhouse door the first time it bloomed, it was like, wow, what a pop. And then you'll remember we have our petunias, the black ones. Look at how those are, and look at how full they're getting. It's just crazy. And Mrs. Rogers is going to try and pull one out there. Look at that. Look at the craziness of it. Is that not like beautiful? So these are going to be really full and bright. They've got really big flowers on them, and they're black. So those people who like OSU can find them a little bit of orange and a little bit of black and go to town. Then we've got a couple of other petunias. You can see that have spots on them here. This one's kind of a dark velvet. Loves the spots, you know, and it seems like they're all different kinds of spots. Like right here, you can see one with larger spots and smaller ones. And then it's the same thing over here. Here's our petunia that, remember, Mrs. Balch loved because of the K-State colors. Look at that, how full it is. But if you can see, I'm just going to kind of fan it over here. Look at all the color. Is that just not crazy? It's just crazy, okay? And then as we go past the petunias, I don't know if you remember the Angelonia. So if you'll look here, we've got our pinks and our reds, and those things are really popping. You can see how they kind of get the flowers just keep working up to the top, and they just get taller and taller, and the flowers just keep blooming, and it's just really, really pretty. Now, one of the things we've got here on the end that loves the heat and also attracts mega butterflies is called the Penta. And you can see right there, they're getting ready to bloom. They're coming out. They're just getting ready to start. And here you'll see one that's just started, and here's got a couple on here. So these attract butterflies. The butterflies love the Pentas, and they really attract a lot to your yard. So you might want to think about that. Plus, as you can tell, in 100 degrees, and they're still going strong. They love the heat. They love this. They love the sun, okay? Now, I was wanting to show you guys underneath here. Can you see? We've got some of our Wandering Jew. And do you remember what it looked like? And now it's crawling out onto the edges. So we've got our Wandering Jew that you guys took cuttings of. And look, it's going to town. Along with some Dorianthus you guys did cuttings of. Along with some of our purslane here that we've got, our watermelon punch right here. And then here's another one that we did cuttings of that was our variegated Swedish ivy, and look at how that is growing. It's crazy. Crazy, crazy. So I'm kind of like letting you guys see the purse line. Mrs. Rogers, you see it's kind of strewn about. I had to move stuff apart because it was so hot in here that parts of it were getting really, really dry and parts of it were staying really, really wet, and I needed the air to circulate. So with the air circulating, I think it's doing a whole lot better. Now, here goes our rose moss, and you can see it's starting to get some flowers on it right there. Okay, so it's going to town. And remember, it's also a heat lover, otherwise it wouldn't make it out here. Now, one of my favorites that adds a lot of interest to a pot is called a Dahlberg daisy. Remember, these are just kind of airy and light. They love the heat, and they'll just look at all those blooms. So you can see when you put them in a pot, they're just going to go to town. Okay, another heat lover is, remember, our gazanias. And gazanias kind of remind some people of dandelions at the beginning. They kind of have that kind of leaf shape, but then when they start to flower, look at that. They just go to town. So what great part about gazanias is they love, love, love the heat, and you can keep them. You can forget to water them one day and go out the next day, and they'll look a little bit sad, and then they just perk right up. So if you are thinking you've got a lot of heat, like in this greenhouse, and you need something colorful, this would be what you might want to think about getting. Okay. Now let's move around here. I'm going to kind of like come back down the middle. I've moved most all the petunias out, but we've got a couple of hanging petunia baskets out here. But if these don't get watered every day, they just wilt like crazy. So I've got most of those over in the new greenhouse where it's a little cooler. Okay, as well as here's a few of our ones that we cut back, and then our ice plant. But if you'll look back here, this is one of my favorites. You know, Miss Rogers, she loves her begonias, and these are just kind of unique and different. And I don't know if you can see, I'm going to try and show you right here our angel wings. Can you see right here where you've got the one here and one over here where it makes kind of like the wing shape? And then look at all those yellow flowers that are popping out of there. They're just kind of starting to go crazy. We've got the begonias that are the angel wing, that are the yellow flowers, and then this is kind of a muted angel wing, I think, but look at that, it's a dark leaf, and look at those orange flowers. Are those not going crazy? And then we have our red vermilion right here that's doing really, really good. Look at all of those blooms on there. Is that not crazy? Are those blooms not just absurd how beautiful they are? And then this one's called, I believe it's called Bonita, but it's a kind of a mixture of yellow and orange. But if you'll look, there's a lot of blooms on these. But Mrs. Rogers, they'll be blooming in another week or two, but they're just not there yet. Okay, now I want you to look at the back. Look at all those geraniums. You know, I told you, you have to love the heat to be out here. Well, Mrs. Rogers moved all the petunias over to the other greenhouse and put the geraniums out here because they can take the heat. And as you can see, they're doing beautifully. As a matter of fact, they love the heat. Okay, so here we go. We got some Dorianthus here on the bottom that you guys did cuttings of, and then your Swedish ivy and Dorianthus here. And then if you'll look at here, look at this blue. This is called Evolvulus, and it's called, quote, blew my mind. And it really does kind of blow your mind how pretty that is. And I don't think I've ever seen it blooming quite like this. I think we just have it in the perfect spot in the greenhouse this time. And then here's some ice plant. Remember, that's not a perennial, it's an annual, and it's starting to get little blooms all over it. And remember, the hotter it gets, the more it blooms. It just loves the heat, okay? And then down here, we've got another one of our Wandering Jews, but this, remember, is called Shrekshire, and it's going to town also. So I wanted to, here are some of our other geranium baskets. I'll show you here that are kind of starting to go to town, and then we've got a few that have verbena in them. So it's just kind of some variety there, and I think they look really, really pretty. Here's our begonias. Look at those angel wing begonias. Remember, they got, with Mrs. Balch's help, she cut them up, and we started them in water and got them rooting, and then look at how they're going to town. So this is kind of crazy. And if you look at the ground down here, you'll see we've got pots of geraniums and spikes and other things that are kind of going crazy down here on the bottom. So there's just a little bit of everything in this greenhouse. It makes me really proud. I'm thinking how I wish you guys were here to see this, because you would be going nuts. You'd just be so proud of all the work that you've done. And but since you're not here, I'm going to hold my breath, and hopefully we're going to be able to have our plant sale sometime in May, and maybe I'll get to see you guys. I miss you all like crazy, and I'm going to be sending you some YouTube videos. This one, and then the next one I do will be the other greenhouse, and I'll kind of let you see it, okay? All right, you guys take care of yourself. Know that you're missed. Know that you are loved, and I hope that you're all staying safe and being very, very careful. Okay, take care of yourselves. Until later. And if you could text me back and tell me 3 of the flowers that you really liked, or something that impressed you in the greenhouse in here, or something that you think looks really, really good, I would really appreciate that. Thank you guys. Love you all. Talk to you later.